Creepy Outdoors is a YouTube channel where the uploader explores spooky outdoor places, especially at night, all year round. In October 2022, they posted a video of a camping trip to an unnamed forest in the middle of nowhere. They recorded everything as they wandered through the dark woods. At first, all you can hear is the uploaders breathing, and you can't help but admire how brave they are to be in such a spooky place alone, not knowing what they might encounter. As the video goes on, the uploader comments on what they see, but there's no one else in sight. Then, about 13 minutes in, a really scary sound changes the mood of the footage.
Oh, hi. What the hell? I need to get out of here. Oh, boy. Ooh. Okay. That was creepy. I need to get out of here.
In the distance, about a couple of 100 feet away from the uploader, a voice shouts, "I see you." It could have been a coyote or a fox making the creepy sound, but because it sounded so much like "I see you," it might have been another camper trying to spook the uploader. Since the YouTuber had been talking and making noise the whole time, they might have unintentionally let someone else know they were there, and that person might have wanted to prank them for fun. But it's weird to think why anyone else would be in the same isolated part of the woods. What's really unsettling is that the voice or creature shouted right after the guy turned off his lamp, almost like they were waiting for that moment to say something creepy. Luckily, the uploader got back to their campsite safely and kept posting outdoor videos afterward. Love Sundays is a YouTube camping channel run by Sean, who shares cool footage of his solo camping trips all over the UK. In February 2024, he posted a video where he parked his van by the roadside next to some woods, then jumped over a fence to explore. Later, Sean returned to his van to cook dinner, then went for an evening walk in the woods. He hit the hay around 9 p.m., but things got creepy around 3 in the morning.
All being well, I'll see you in the morning. Good night. A car's just pulled up, and it sounds like they're walking around the van.
When Sean opens the curtains, the people walking around his van quickly get back in their car. When he looks out the window to check, the car drives off, leaving him alone for the rest of the night. It's not until the next morning that Sean discovers what the visitors did to his van.
Right, well, I think we should at least go outside and see how miserable the weather is. My door's stuck. What the actual... See that? I don't even think I can shut the door now. So when I said I got left alone last night, it doesn't look like I did get left alone, does it? I didn't even hear anyone out on the side door. Right, I've got to work out how to do this.
Why someone would want to lock a stranger in their van is a mystery. The only reasonable explanation I can think of is maybe they were trying to steal diesel from the van and use the zip ties on the door in case Sean tried to stop them. It's also possible it was a local who didn't want people parking their camping vans in that area, but we'll probably never know for sure. Thankfully, after cutting off the zip ties, Sean made it home safe and has kept sharing videos of his camping adventures in the UK. Grizzly Gaz runs a camping channel on YouTube where he shares videos of himself, Gaz the Uploader going on hiking and camping adventures in the UK with his French bulldog, Fendi. He often goes camping in tough conditions and sometimes meets big animals in the woods, which he captures on camera. In April 2023, Gaz uploaded a video of a camping trip in the UK woods. The first part of the trip goes smoothly as Gaz sets up his tent and makes a fire while his dog, Fendi, keeps him company as the sun sets. The video didn't show this part, but as Gaz was cooking a steak over the fire, a stranger in jeans and a coat showed up at his campsite, asking for a beer and some food.
Right, we've got steaks on go now. Bit of ribeye. Pot boiling for some mash. And I've got a visitor. Creeped up behind me asking me if I had a light. I shit me pants. This is Martin anyway. I don't know him, but he's stopping for a steak, so...
Just some random creep wandering about.
You went round here in a poncho a couple of months ago, were you?
I don't think I was. I could have been.
Even though the man's approach was pretty calm, it's still unsettling to be camping in the woods and suddenly have a stranger asking for stuff. If you pay attention, some of the guy's sentences don't make much sense, and he seems to talk a lot without much focus, like he's not all there. Later in the video, Gaz reveals that the man, Martin, was homeless. Over dinner, Martin shared how drugs messed up his life and left him wandering alone in the woods that day. What's creepy is that while Gaz was chopping wood for the fire, Martin slipped away without even saying thanks for the meal. After the odd encounter, Gaz decided to pack up and leave, worried that Martin might tell others about a guy camping alone with expensive gear. He set up a trail camera to see if Martin returned with bad intentions. It's hard to tell if Martin was just confused or had something worse planned. Either way, it was smart for Gaz to leave and come back in the morning. And when he did, the trail camera was gone, which added to the mystery. Here's another story about someone getting a surprise while car camping. It's from a YouTube channel called Asleep 5 Decades. This time, it's about a woman named Lisa who sleeps in her van, which she calls the Dream Machine. She was sound asleep around 4:30 in the morning when she suddenly heard knocking on her van, right by her head. It was 3 sets of 3 knocks each. By the 3rd set, she grabbed her phone and started recording.
Somebody's back here again. I hear footprints. Hello? How can I help you? It's 4:30 in the morning. I don't feel safe. Who are you?
The guy knocking on the van said, "I have a question for you." That's a huge red flag for someone to come up to a woman's van at 4:30 in the morning when they know she's inside. Lisa peeked out the front of her van and saw a car parked far down the road with its headlights on. It was probably the person's car.
So I quietly got up and I went to the front and I peeked out and parked way up on the drive. All I could see is like headlights, and then they backed out and went and left.
We don't know if there was anyone else in the car. The next morning, Lisa finds big boot marks in the snow right outside her van. It seems like the guy outside her van might have tried to get in but found the doors locked. Lisa was lucky she had locked them. But after something like this, if you're in a vehicle, it's safest to drive away right away. Luckily, nothing worse happened to Lisa this time. Sleep in your truck, van, or a bigger vehicle. It can feel safer in some ways than sleeping in a tent. In a video I'm about to tell you about, a guy named Noah took his truck to Sun River, Oregon. He found a quiet road by the woods and decided to park there for the night. He thought it would be a great spot since no one else would be around, but he was wrong. Later that night, Noah heard strange sounds outside his truck. That's when he started recording with his GoPro.
I'm currently sleeping in the back of my truck right now. I don't even know what time it is. And there's someone walking around my truck right now. If you can hear that, it's pretty loud. He's been walking around for like 20 minutes already. My gun's in my cab though. And pitch black outside, probably like 2 in the morning, and he just keeps walking around, and he's like really close to my truck. I've never been this scared, and like this doesn't make any sense because I parked somewhere where you couldn't see, no one was on that road. Wait, he's touching my truck. He's literally touching my truck. How am I supposed to get him away? He's literally knocking. He's literally knocking on my truck. The back door's locked. I've never been scared before ever. I don't think he knows that there's anyone in here. I'm so scared right now. I wish I brought my gun back here. He keeps walking around. I don't get it. I'm like, how is he not? I've noticed. It doesn't make any sense. I'm gonna try to see if he goes away eventually. We'll see. He's literally peeking through the door right now. I've never been this scared ever. So, the current time is 2:30 in the morning right now. He's still walking around my truck. I'm gonna try to see if I can flash my light to get him scared. So he runs away. There he is. Oh my god. Oh my god.
In the video, you can hear someone running their fingers along the truck's window, and at times there's tapping on the glass too. The next day, Noah sees what the person was up to. There are hand marks all over the back window, like they were trying to wipe away the dirt to see inside. So Noah wasn't as alone as he thought in those woods. But thankfully, he was safe inside his locked truck instead of a tent. In this video, YouTuber Adsventures drives his stealth camper van to the woods for Halloween night. He parks the van as close to the woods as possible before heading further in on foot.
Up here for now. Unfortunately, this is the closest that we can get to the woods. We can't take the van any further, but I will be going in there on foot.
Next to the woods is an old church and cemetery that he needs to walk past to get into the woods. While he's setting up to make a latte in the woods, something unexpected occurs. He barely notices a white shadow walking by in the background. Then he hears sounds nearby several times. When he looks in that direction, he sees small orb-like lights sometimes.
What's that? I've come up to that bit where the light was just shining. What? He's moved. I'm gonna have to go and check that out. Where the hell?
But what you might have missed the most was a silhouette-like object that briefly showed up in the light.
He's moved. I'm gonna have to go and check that out.
But this might not be the last time he sees something strange. As he keeps walking, he suddenly stops because he's pretty sure he sees a person up ahead in the dark.
I swear, I keep seeing someone. Hold on. There's no one there. I swear. There was. I think I'm gonna go this way, to be honest with you. What the hell? That is a person. I'm not even joking. What the f? I can't see anything. Oh, what was that?
He's sure it was a person because he saw them turn around and look at him. Some people in the comments think it might have been a mannequin set up as a Halloween prank, while others mention the nearby cemetery and the white orbs, suggesting something spooky might be going on. And of course, some people think it could have all been staged. But what was really going on in this video is anyone's guess. Since 2017, a guy named Phil has been putting up videos of his hikes on his YouTube channel called Hike Slam. He shows viewers how he gets ready for long hikes, camps out alone in the woods, picks the right gear, and all sorts of outdoor stuff. One time, the night before Thanksgiving in 2021, Phil went on an overnight hike along the Appalachian Trail near his home in Virginia. At first, everything seemed normal for about 30 minutes into his hike. But then, Phil stumbled upon some weird-looking trash by the trail. Even stranger, he noticed writing on some of the containers. It looked like song lyrics, but Phil couldn't figure out why someone would write out whole songs or poems on plastic containers just to throw them away later. As Phil ventured deeper into the wilderness, things got even weirder. And when he got close to his camping spot, he found more creepy notes scattered around.
The weirdness continues. What the hell? And there's a dead duck here.
Some of the notes had strange poems on them, while others talked about wild conspiracy theories and secret agents. And then there were some that seemed like personal stories from the people who wrote them. Phil couldn't be sure if the person who left the notes was also the one who killed the duck, but it seemed too weird that the duck was right there next to the notes. Plus, the notes looked fresh, not old or soggy. After seeing this creepy scene, Phil spotted a tarp and a fire near a campsite not far from the notes and the dead duck. He kept his distance and headed towards a shelter instead. Later, he met two women with a dog on the trail. They asked if he had seen the person leaving the creepy notes and dead animals. When Phil mentioned the campsite and fire, they got scared and asked him to walk back to their car with them. Since Phil wanted to be far away from the campsite, he agreed and then hiked in another direction to find a safer spot to sleep. Thankfully, the rest of Phil's hike to the new shelter was quiet. He set up camp, made dinner, and enjoyed the evening far from the unsettling notes. But when it got dark, he went into the shelter to check the camp log and read other hikers' notes. And that's when things got really spooky again.
Has a shelter log where people write in their trail names and what's going on. They can write whatever they want in there. So it's kind of cool tradition here. So let's see what this one says. Little engine, back section. Hiking again finally. Great day on the AT. This was in August. Huh. Someone left some PBRs here, I guess. It's nice and little trail magic. Ah, some comics and writing and stuff. Alright, let's see what's happened recently. Holy crap. Wait a second. Well, I'm adjust the camera here. This writing looks almost exactly like the writing that was on that garbage a couple of miles from here.
Even though Phil's staying in a shelter more than 2 miles away, the handwriting in the camp log is the same as the creepy notes he found earlier. That's already creepy, but it gets worse when Phil starts reading what's written in the logbook.
Refer to Isaiah 28:15 through 9. Here in early 2017, Trump, Nebo, allowed Obama to have the special use of the Air Force One for a trip to Palm Springs. This is the same ramblings from the guy that was on the other side of the river. That's kind of scary. Kind of weird. Those women down there said they were going to call the police on the guy. I know it's really hard to read in this light. Sorry about that. Let me move that there. Wow, this is weird. It's just like it goes in one direction, then immediately goes in a completely different direction. And there's just so much of it. Like this line up here. Think grave robbery in an attempt to obscure the reality of Little Mrs. Wolf. Content. Come up with some more of those wicked schemes, JB and company, so I can show some more of your true character.
It's really worrying that there's a criminal out there in the woods leaving creepy notes everywhere. From what he's writing, it seems like he's not thinking straight. This is a big concern for Phil, especially since it's getting dark and he doesn't have anything to protect himself. As Phil gets ready to sleep in his tent, he goes back to the shelter one more time. There, he finds a note written by the same person hanging from the ceiling, warning about something called Yeet Mouse and saying spooky stuff about the dead. Feeling super creeped out, Phil tries to sleep in his tent, but he's really on edge after everything that happened. The last thing he wants is to hear weird noises near the shelter in the middle of the night. But that's exactly what happens. As he's drifting off, he hears someone moving around outside. When he peeks out of his tent, he sees a guy with a headlamp walking around the shelter. Phil doesn't want to stick around to find out if it's the same person who left the notes, so he quietly heads back to his truck in the middle of the night, checking behind him to make sure he's not being followed. Luckily, he makes it home safe. And as of 2024, he hasn't posted any more videos about the strange notes he found on the Appalachian Trail. It's possible that other hikers came across them too, but we may never know who wrote them or what they would have done if they ran into unsuspecting campers. Sam is a YouTuber from Cleveland, Ohio, who's been sharing videos of his stealth camping trips on his channel, The Northwest Wind, since 2016. Stealth camping is basically parking your camper van wherever without paying for parking, from neighborhoods to remote areas. In January 2024, Sam posted footage of his stealth camping trip in the Cleveland woods, leaving his camper van at a nearby dog park. On his way into the woods, he spots a torn-up camping tent, which is kinda spooky, but he keeps going. After setting up his tent and cooking dinner, he notices a couple of people passing by, and he starts feeling uneasy, like he might be in danger. Most experienced campers would say, if your gut tells you something's wrong, it's time to leave. But Sam decides to tough it out and keeps recording. When he settles in his tent for the night, things start to get really creepy. As time goes on, the footsteps outside Sam's tent get louder and louder. He tries calling out to whoever it is, but at first there's no response. It's only after he calls out several times that Sam's worst nightmare starts to come true. Completely freaked out after the scary encounter, Sam obviously decides to pack it in for the night and go back to his van at the park. But things just keep getting worse for him. As he heads back to the park, Sam glances back at his campsite and sees the attackers taking his stuff. But he's too scared to go back, so he keeps running, fearing for his life. Looking back, he sees the attackers chasing him through the woods. After safely reaching his van, Sam drove home and shared a recap of what went down with his viewers. Many commenters accused him of staging the video, saying no one would keep recording while sprinting through dark woods. But everyone reacts differently to stress, and Sam's reaction seemed genuine to me. As for the attackers, it's anyone's guess who they were and what they wanted. If it was some kind of prank, it's a messed up one. But since Sam found his stuff untouched the next morning, it seems like stealing wasn't their main goal. We can't know what they would have done if Sam hadn't run, but it's probably a good thing he did. Though Facts by HowToHunt.com is a channel all about the outdoors, teaching people about nature and inspiring them to explore the wilderness. In January 2022, they posted a scary video showing a group of teenagers reacting to weird noises coming from the woods.
I hear that? Get Trevor. Austin, get the light. Fuck. Hey! That was not an elk. Where's that coming from? Get my keys. Oh, get ready. Everybody, get in my truck!
When you're in the woods at night, it's easy to mix up animal sounds with human screams. Foxes, coyotes, and bobcats can all make noises that sound like people yelling. But in this video, the noise didn't seem like any animal I know of, especially with how loud the tree banging was. Elk rub their antlers on trees, but it's not usually that loud or scary. Lots of folks in the comments said the sounds sounded like human screams. It could have been a person yelling in the woods at night, which is pretty creepy too. Some viewers think the video was set up, but the uploaders' reactions seem real. All we know for sure is it's a good thing those guys didn't bump into whatever was making those noises.